How do you do? This is Trixie the Golden Witch, and you've made it to another episode of Vlogust, which is the series of videos I'm doing all August for the year that I turned 31, because there's 31 days in August, and I'm making 31 videos in the month of August. Wow, isn't that a special premise? I love it. At the end of the month, I'm going to make a crazy fucking announcement. The kind of thing that makes your mind explode, that makes you, makes all your skin, basically split through the middle and start to peel back, and all your skin goes all the way around like a sonic wave was shredding all of yours, flaying you, and all of it completely peeled off, and then you're oh, I've got no skin. That's the way you're gonna feel when you hear this fucking announcement at the end of the month. So, critics, they really need to be critiqued. Critics are a problem, including me. I helped to cause the problem. And that's why I have to help to fix it. I already made a video called We Have Forgotten Love, where I talked about my personal journey from realizing, wow, I've caused a lot of negativity, and I didn't really understand the power of that negativity when I was doing it. Early on, the internet seemed like a bunch of fun and games. Seemed like you could just say shit and no one was ever going to care. The kind of stuff that I was saying about anime in particular, I was always happy about the fact that the creators were never going to see it. Back when I did My Little Pony content, when I first started my career, I became quickly aware that the people writing the show were seeing my videos. I found ways to get confirmation of that and got confirmation. So I knew that every time I was making a video, there was potential that somebody who worked on the show might see it. And I kind of treated it that way. Even though I was critical of episodes sometimes, I was never mean about it. I was never attacking the people who make the show. I was always kind of just viewing it from a lens of I don't know why this happened. And there was even a time where I was unclear about the message of an episode, and I asked the writer on Twitter about it, and I got clarification, and I understood where he was coming from and why the episode was the way it was. So I never had the sense that I was combating the people making the thing that I'm talking about, even when I was being negative about it or critical. And so when I moved into the world of anime, the first anime related video that I did that really got a lot of attention was me being very negative about Sword Art Online. And this was baked into an era of me doing tons of really positive analytical reviews of other similar shows. I was started off in a cyberpunk era when I started doing anime back in 2014, and I covered Serial Experiments Lain, which I was hyper positive about, Log Horizon, hyper positive, Psycho Pass, Ghost in the Shell. And in the process of watching Log Horizon, I became interested in talking about Sword Art Online, partly despite my ex-girlfriend at the time, because it was her favorite show, and we had broken up around the time she was getting into it, and I had kind of reinvestigated it in a way of trying to grapple with was I the idiot for not understanding what's good about this show? And I watched it with my brother, who had initially liked it and eventually really hated it. We both hated it a lot. The videos of us watching the show initially are probably still out there somewhere. And so it was coming from a place of vitriol, and even still, my video started off with me saying hey, if you like this show, that's great. In that very first SAO analysis, I'm talking about how I really think that if you can get something out of a show, that's always good. I don't ever besmirch someone improving their lives because of the fact that they got something out of a show, no matter what show it is. It was just my explanation of why I couldn't get something out of this show that people kept asking me to talk about. I wouldn't have even bothered if it wasn't for it was the only anime that, as I was leaving the My Little Pony fan base and coming into the anime fandom, that my audience of My Little Pony fans had actually seen. Most of them just weren't familiar with anime beyond what was the most popular anime at that particular moment, which was Sword Art Online. And a lot of them maybe knew Death Note or one or two other shows. Attack on Titan was getting popular around then, but Sword Art Online was the biggest show, so I had to talk about it. And my opinions were negative, and that hadn't really been expressed by a lot of people yet. And so that like anti-zeitgeist, that like opposing force of like, you know, the voice of everyone who investigated this show because it was popular, didn't get something out of it or got something negative out of it and wanted to vent that. All of that was what I was representing without even really realizing that those people existed when I made that video. And so over the course of my career, I've always overwhelmingly had way more positive content about anime than negative, even among the stuff that's most popular on my channel. Like, I can't even stand here and say, oh, the negative stuff is always the most popular. Like, a couple of my most popular videos, including the most popular, are overall negative about anime, but I still have a lot of really positive videos that have a ton of views. So I've never even viewed myself as being like a specifically caustic critic, but it is true that the negativity draws more views. And at this point, we're getting to where people just want to see negative criticism, where like, it's not even about the media at all. It's just like the desire to see someone shitting on whatever's popular. And honestly, I think a lot of stuff is more popularly being shit on than it is even popular in the first place. Like this new She-Hulk show, I don't think as many people are watching the She-Hulk show as are watching people shit on the She-Hulk show, because that's easier than watching it. It's easier than trying to like something that's outside your demographic. And it's like there's already a pre-baked demographic for hating the popular thing, which in this case is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And like there was a long time where I wasn't talking about the MCU because I wasn't interested in it. It wasn't because I hated it. I always acknowledge these as like, well, they're good movies that aren't made for me. Why would I talk about them? Sword Art Online was interesting because it was made for a 12-year-old version of me. And I can look back on it and talk about how much I could have gotten out of it had I been that age, and how much I don't because I'm too old for it. And like that's been the message of a lot of my negative content about anime for a younger audience, is like the Astro Score Sucks video. Like the ultimate conclusion of that video is, yeah, this show is great for the amazing 9-year-old. I'm a fucking adult. You know, I don't need to be watching it, but you know, I feel like I have to, because I have to talk about popular shows. And that's like the meta text that has driven everyone into just like feeling like they need to hear an opinion about everything that's like relevant to whatever franchise or whatever like mainstream thing has become the tentpole piece of conversation. Like you have to have an opinion about it, but you don't want to have to watch the thing to have an opinion. So you find someone whose opinions you generally agree with, and then you just start taking their opinions and parroting them back forward. And that's fine. I don't even mind that. I think that, yeah, if you're going to go and parrot the shit I say, obviously I think the world's going to be a better place for it, or else I wouldn't have fucking said that shit in the first place. I want people to be more like me, but, you know, I don't want people to be more like these do-nothing assholes who like sit around in their room and just be mad at stuff for existing when they can't do anything themselves. And like being mad about something like the MCU and like dedicating your life to nitpicking everything that's wrong with something that is just so like innately, like it's really hard for an MCU property to be bad. Even like the worst ones I can think of, I can't call with a straight face bad the way I can these videos I'm talking about. Like videos about those movies are fucking terrible, and people are watching them anyways because they just think it's cool to hate on a popular thing. And it like when I watch those types of videos and I see that they have millions of views, it just makes me feel like, ah, man, not only is this guy an idiot, but his audience doesn't even care that he's an idiot. It's truly the blind leading the blind. And like, I just, as somebody who has an infinite amount of respect for anybody who can organize an actual creative effort, like I make stuff with my friends. We try our best. We bring it up to like the level of what can be done with the little bit of money and expertise that we have. And I look at these massive productions like Marvel and I think, holy fuck, like how can they even conceive of how to do that? Like even being able to think of how to do it is above the level of the people critiquing it. They can't even understand how it was made, and they're trying to tell you about how they fucked it up. And it's like, dude, there's just no way you even understand the level of what's gone into this. And most people don't care to understand, and I don't blame them for that. It's just that when they turn it around and they really poison the well by making it so like no one can just enjoy the things they enjoy. Like, I'm out here as somebody who sincerely got into Marvel because of Phase 4, because of Moon Knight, because of Loki, like, as being two of my favorite shows. And like, people are telling me that I have fake opinions or I'm jumping on a bandwagon too late, because the bandwagon now is hating the MCU. And I'm just sitting here like, what are you fucking talking about? I just like the thing. I just like the thing. It just is good now. And it's really fucking bizarre for me to walk into that world, to like enter the shoes of being a person who can recognize what is so good about this show, and then realizing that the zeitgeist is shitting on it, but not because the show is bad. It's because it's easy. It's just easier than keeping up with the shows and actually challenging yourself to understand what the fuck is happening in an increasingly complex narrative that has actually gotten to the level of meta text that, yeah, normies are fucking stuck and they don't get it. Like, people who are insulting these movies online, I truly don't think they're following what the fuck is going on. And like, I get that that's the complaint. Like, if your complaint is, hey, Marvel, you've gotten too advanced for me, great, I don't mind that. But it's the implication that they've like, that all these tiny little dumb nitpicks that you can point out are the reason that the thing's failing. Why would you think that you even could figure out why the thing's failing? Who the fuck are you to even talk about it? So, I made my video about the Critical Drinker recently. I also created the Literal Thinker character as a parody of not just him, but everybody who has the same attitude. Just all these critics who have just the most insipid, like, they're always extremely driven by feelings and then complaining about how the media itself is too driven by feelings instead of, I don't know, I guess they're just upset with which feelings are chosen to be explored, I guess, really. I just find it incredibly embarrassing when I watch all these critics who are basically just saying in so many words, like, hey, most of what's popular right now isn't being made for me. And I understand that is an easy position for most people to connect with, because nothing is ever being made for everyone. Inevitably, the most popular thing will be disliked by more people than it's liked by. That just makes sense, because it's insanely difficult to make something everyone would like. Actually, it's impossible. You can't make something everyone would like. You're always just trying to hit the highest number you can. And so, yeah, whatever the most popular thing is, ultimately, more people probably don't like it than do. But when you start making that like the cool, hip opinion to have, and like everybody's getting together in a little circle jerk to talk about how much they don't like the popular thing, then it's like no one can like anything. Like, the more people like something and the more emphatically they like it, the more they will be punished culturally for having enjoyed something that someone else couldn't enjoy. And I just think that sucks. I think critics should be out there challenging themselves to figure out why people enjoy the thing. Like, you should always be going into it like, what was this person trying to do? Who likes it? What worked between that? Like, why did this person's expression reach these people? That's interesting, because that tells me something about the people and the creator. But when you are just like, hey, a bunch of people like this thing, but not me, I sure do wish that they made a thing for me. Like, well, motherfucker, are you looking? Or are you just mad that the thing that's popular wasn't made for you? Because why would it be? It never is. It's always made for everyone to as much of an extent as they can engage with it. Everything is, but some things will happen to be your thing, some things won't. You might have to look for the things that are your thing if your thing doesn't happen to congeal with everyone else's thing. But you can't fight the tide of what things people are starting to enjoy. You're never going to get back to a place where people are just going to suit your needs if most people don't share your needs. You have to figure out how you can adapt to the times. And that's what I need to see from more critics. I've been Trixie the Golden Witch. You can find more of my writing on goldenwitch.substack.com. You can also subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/goldenwitchfire, where for $5 or more every single month, I will rant about whatever you want. I will do the rant in a big stream at the end of the month. You send me a DM about what you want me to rant about. Could be your favorite anime or whatever. Listen to my hip-hop group, Sucker Punch. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. You can find links to other podcasts and stuff I do in the description below. And never forget, everything, everywhere, all at once, forever!
Damn Marvel ruining everything with gays. Just want a bowl of cereal. What's this? Did I buy this? Oh, buy one Kenobi. Oh no, they're gonna make me gay with my cereal now. Too hungry not to eat it. Goddamn. Queer Marvel, gay agenda, globo homo. Fuck it. At least I got milk. Best if used by tomorrow. I gotta stop buying 8 jugs at once. Oh well, drink it anyway. Milk's always good. Even when it's bad milk, it's still good. Alrighty. Now we're fatten the old belly up. Ah! Oh my god! Can't be you! You're not real! I don't believe it! Ah!